Hey, how's it going? And good morning. I guess that's only me. So, the reason why I say good morning is because I literally just woke up less than 30 minutes ago. And for some reason, I just felt led to give this speech, to give this talk, to send this message. There is a lot going on in the world right now. There will be a lot going on in the world. And that could be good, that could be bad. But at the end of the day, it is us, people, that decide where things go. Because there is strength in numbers. And one thing that we're all asking ourselves, and really we all ask ourselves this at any point in time, during any disaster, right? We all face some sort of disaster, whether that's just a perceived disaster, may it be inward or may it be outward, may it be our environment, may it be our environment. Because both of those environments matter. And as we chase what we're chasing and we pursue what we're pursuing, then we face those hard times. So, what I wanted to share today, and the message I wanted um, to convey to you, is there is one thing that I have learned that is the deciding factor in keeping me going. And by no means, I am not there, I guess, if you will. And truthfully, I don't think I ever will be. And I don't really want to. Because as much as I kind of fight and I tussle and I problem solve, I fire extinguish, etc., like that, um, I enjoy it. Not necessarily I enjoy the struggle. Not saying that I want to sit there and struggle the rest of my life, but I like challenge. That accomplishing of a challenge, that overcoming of a challenge, it it brings me life. So the one thing that I can suggest, the one thing that from experience has brought me a great deal of guidance and support, is self-awareness, right? We all understand what that means, but I'm going to break it down and I'm going to let you know that nobody is going to be able to lead you better and quicker than you can lead yourself if you learn to. Let me say that again. Nobody is going to be able to lead you better and quicker than you are going to be able to. I'm not sure if I worded that exactly the way that I said before, but essentially what that means is with self-awareness, we all have an inner navigational system. We all have an inner compass, something telling us that this is right. And at any point in life, and during any disaster, any issue, any breakup, any downfall, any injury, anything in life can change that navigation system at any point in time, and it's natural. We all go through things through life. And one thing that I hope, and actually I'd like to add a second thing. So not only self-awareness, but the second thing is empathy. And with empathy, I want to say that empathy is not only understanding people, but understanding where people are, listening to their journey, and accepting the fact that their path is fundamentally different than yours. For example, I'm an entrepreneur. It's felt right. It always has. It always will be. It will be my path indefinitely, to my knowledge, right? This could change. We don't know. But until that changes, that's what I'm going to chase. But if someone comes up to me and they're speaking about their issues with their employment, I don't have anything really to say about what it's like to be an employee, because at this point in my life, I have more entrepreneur experience, way more entrepreneur experience, and way more entrepreneur hours logged than I do any time clock that I punched in. And so I just don't understand. It was funny. I was just talking with my best friend just the other day, and yesterday, actually, in fact, and he was talking to me. I'm not sure how we got into talking. Whenever me and my buddy were talking, it just gets to going, and we go from topic to topic to topic, and we started talking about HR, and uh, he was telling me about HR and how HR is used within a company. And he wasn't, I was ignorant. I don't, I don't know. I don't have an HR department. I've never worked at a place where I felt like I needed to go to HR. So, uh, I was learning. And so during this process, I just realized it just was apparently clear that there's so much about the employee experience that I have no idea about. And if I wasn't able to listen and understand and learn and accept that that is the path that people choose to go through, then I wouldn't be able to learn from that experience. And I understand that a lot of people may think that, you got to go through life learning and, you know, trying to treat life like it's work. And that's a funny thing to say, because on one hand, yes, why not take life seriously? And to a certain degree, to whatever degree that you want to take life, I say go for it. If you want to grind from 5, 6 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, all the way until 10, 11, 12, or further at night, that's your prerogative. I use life as a tool to learn. In fact, I learn more from life and from other people than I do from books. Now, I've read some really good books and I've learned some really good messages from those books. But I tell you, life and listening to people will teach you more than anything. If you just pay attention and you're able to separate yourself. Now, in your mind, using self-awareness, you can put yourself, and this is what I do, honestly, whenever I'm listening to someone's experience and someone's problem, I put myself in that shoes, truthfully. I don't care how wild of an experience. Now, this is my inner navigational system, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit, but we use self-awareness as a tool to lead ourselves, to lead ourselves, we need to understand ourselves. So self-awareness is inner empathy and inner leadership. Holy crap, that's actually really good. I'm I'm sorry. I'm not sure if you can tell, but this is off the cuff. I just felt led to say this and to speak this right now. And yeah, wow, that's pretty powerful. I'm sorry, I'm thrown back by it because that's exactly what self-awareness is in order to lead anyone, you need to be able to understand someone. And that's what self-awareness is. When I go through life, when I mess up, uh when I excel, I review that, I understand it, and I take tools, right? It's the same thing from a leader. If you're there and you're watching an employee or someone that you're working with, and you watch them go through something, and let's say they mess up, right? You watch them, you learn. If you're able to use empathy, outer empathy, to understand that that's where they are, try to understand things from their perspective, then you're better able to lead them so that we could get a better outcome next time. And it's the same thing inwardly, right? We use that inner ability to be able to assess what we've done and learn from our experience. All that. We have our own history. We have history. So many people are obsessed and they love history, right? And I admire it from afar. I respect it. I think that it's good that a lot of people know. But I like my history because I know me, and I'm the only person that will be continuing with me on this journey. So there's one more point that I wanted to make, and that's you use self-awareness not only to understand yourself and to lead yourself, but you also got to use it to kind of pick up on yourself and to read your inner navigational system so that you know where to go. Because if you're leading yourself down a path that you've really gotten or received from your environment, or or maybe someone that you passed by, that you bumped into, etc. You got some sort of influence from someone. Now, if it feels right, it feels right. You know what? Chase it. But sometimes we are chasing someone else's inner navigational system, or the only navigational system that they can understand. So it's very important that you have the ability to be able to read your own. And as you follow that journey, you can understand, watch, learn from yourself, and then use all that data to then lead yourself. And as you go through this path, listen to others. And listen to others knowing that they're going through that same experience. And at any point in time, someone can come across your path at any point in their path, right? Let's say you have someone that grows up and they are a troubled child, and starting from young age, and they're troubled, and then starting as an adult, for some reason, they start to form themselves. If you meet someone whenever they're young and they're a troubled child, you could definitely, and some would say you would be justified in saying that they're not going anywhere. And that is a possibility. But at any point in time, given the fact that they start their growth development as an adult, let's say 19, 18, etc., and it takes them 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 years to grow and develop into their own skin, even if you meet them there, you're still not meeting a complete version of them. And at any point you could think and misjudge that person because they're on that path and they haven't arrived. They haven't learned. Maybe they haven't developed that self-awareness to read their navigation system, to be able to understand themselves with empathy, and to use their history to lead themselves. And you got to understand that some people are crazy. And I say some people, not people. People, I think, intrinsically are good. But due to environment and due to lack of resources as far as knowledge and ability, and even knowledge that there is knowledge to seek, they just haven't went a path that is for them. And in some cases, that happens. But you know what? We need those people. Because in order to know what's right, we got to know what's wrong. And if we don't know what's right, if we don't know what's wrong, then we won't know what's right. And really, it comes down to a feeling. Because any person can see one thing and feel like it's right, but it'd be wrong completely to a different person. And at the end of the day, I think the third thing, and I know I started this off with one thing, but the third thing I would say is, now this is an expert level thing here. And I'm no expert, I'm not trained, I'm not doctorate, I am, yes, anyway, I say that I have used this as a tool to help me. And that's communication. Now, communication is a very vague term, and words are a tool. I watched a video a while back, and it positively impacted me. I already knew the message, but it reaffirmed. And sometimes we need that reaffirmation outwardly to reaffirm what we know inwardly in our inner navigation system, in our inner compass. But I was watching this, and it was a Toastmasters. And it was a Toastmasters on the power of words. In fact, actually, after I say this, I'm probably going to go watch it again, because while I was giving this, I was reminded of it. But it was Muhammad Qutanti. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that, but he was speaking about the power of words. And I'm not going to ruin it, but it really brought home the power of words. And you got to go watch it. It's like, I think the correct version of it, because sometimes people clip parts off, is like 10 minutes or something like that. But that really hit home for me. And prior to then, and definitely after then, I've really taken the words, how I say it, how it affects others, and how I can portray my point. Because very often I feel like the way that I communicate and what I'm trying to portray, convey to another person is not always well received. So, and by well received, I mean it's not understood in the way that I meant to communicate it. There's a message that I want to convey to others. And so, fourth thing, I'm sorry. But this is just good stuff. It's I I'm going off the cuff here, right? The fourth thing is accountability. If you can't be accountable, then what is there? If there's an issue that happens in your life, there's no reason to be self-aware to begin with, right? So if you navigate through life and you're just, hey, I'm here, I got my inner compass, I'm just going, you know? Hey, you better move out my way, I'm following my inner compass. And you're knocking people over and be like, I got empathy, I'm understanding, where you come from. I'm communicating with you, okay, cool. But if you don't take accountability for the mistakes that you make, and for the, like, for example, my communication, when I was talking about that's real. I have many instances. In fact, literally, I could think yesterday, I had sent a few messages, and to the people that I sent the messages to, I wanted to be seen bigger than I've been seen before. And that's been a lot of my personal challenge, is being seen bigger than I have been. And I gotta understand that, and it kind of, accountability goes hand in hand with respect in a way, because I gotta be, respect and accountability are, accountability is something that you take when you take responsibility. So if I go and I say something, right? But for example, okay, the what I'm saying to you right now. Let's say that someone takes what I'm saying right now and does something wrong with it. I can take accountability from that. I take that, I reflect that, and then I use those same tools, right? I use those same tools to then work. I use my self-awareness. First off, I use my accountability because I take accountability for it. And then I review the situation that's using the self-awareness. And then I learn from the history. I lead myself. And then when I lead myself, I then use empathy to understand that that person may just may be at a point in life where they're not ready to fully understand what I'm trying to convey. And then you use accountability again to then look back and then think about how I communicated it. And that's the total package. I mean, believe me, there's minor things to learn. There's discipline. What does discipline look like? There's persistence, there's patience, there's all these sorts of things. But these things, truthfully, these core things, and really, if you just lead with the self-awareness, then the rest will follow, right? Try the problem solve for yourself and lead yourself following your navigation system. Now that, truthfully, that's the one thing. If you could get the one thing, you could get the rest. I wish you the best.